Hey everybody, it's been quite some time, so I figured the least I could do would to be make this video here and kind of catch up with y'all and get y'all caught up on what I've been doing. So it's been a really formative past year and a half for me. As far as this channel, I still remember the day I made this channel. It was July 18th, 2013. I made it on the interstate in Chicago on a way home from a crosstown classic, when the Cubs play the Sox, or vice versa. And I made it in the car ride home. And I didn't even make my first video till almost a year later after having the account. And that just started an obsession with content creation. At the time, what I didn't realize was I was pretty much getting sucked into the alt-right pipeline, so to speak, and I didn't really know it. And I really traded rational thought and critical thinking for, I guess, a bunch of people with a penchant for like slapstick humor and charm and showmanship. And I felt really smug for a couple of years here making political content. I felt like such a contrarian. But at the same time, I was obsessed with my own people that I watched, that I was pretty much just copy-pasting talking points and speech format, and then I was eventually called out for it. I will never forget the moment, but, it was something I tried to, slowly fade away and maybe I could, sneak away from, but I was called out for it, and I had to pretty much eat crow and start from scratch and really just rely on myself. So from that point on, YouTube was solely like a creative project for me. And don't get me wrong, I still had my political takes and whatnot. I started going back into leftism and whatnot at the time, though. And then I just kind of decided I was not having a lot of fun doing political commentary anymore because it's a highly volatile subject. And it's not fun to trade names with people for, trade insults, that is, with people for years and years on end. So I went another route, and then in the midst of a substance abuse problem, I was making trip report videos, and that was fun for a while. And then eventually I met my ex-wife, and I stopped making YouTube videos as I had less and less time for it. And, at first I was like, oh, this is exciting, because I'll be honest with you guys, it was really the first person I was legitimately with. Because when I was a kid, I made a promise to myself that I would be with one person my entire life. So I would be with a person, marry that person, have a family with that person, die with that person. Because I kept things simple, right? And that's just not how the cards played out. But it was a very sad state. I think our relationship and later on our marriage just kind of died before us because I think we did not realize at the time that we were two very incompatible people. And it just kind of ate away my joy and stuff for a long time, and reigniting a drinking problem off and on. So that's really what took up a bulk of the last few years. And I tried a very few honest attempts at a comeback. I tried with music, and I tried doing just old school videos I used to do again. 2020 was a very productive year for me because, it was lockdown and I had all this time on my hands, so I could finally invest in YouTube again. And it would just fizzle out again. Life would get busy, off and on and off and on. I kept feeling like a fool because I'd make these videos like, oh, I've been gone for a while, blah, blah, blah. And I think after a while it was like, I either have to commit or not. And it almost got to the point last November where I almost made a video saying I was done, and I tried to make it several times, but something just kept interrupting the video, or I wouldn't say something right, and it would basically end my attempt at recording that. And I slowly lost interest in making the video, and around the beginning of last month, I think I posted a TikTok onto this account of mine, and it made me think, would it be a bad idea to start this YouTube channel again? Because, I'd really like to make some long form content. And I just had to be away for a while, guys, my marriage crumbled. And because of that, I had to find a new place to live. So I was living with my dad and my stepmother for a while. And then I met someone else, and we fell in love, and I moved in with them. And it was just a very volatile, and I think maybe we jumped the gun a lot. And it really ended chaotically, and then I just ended up here. I had to cut ties with my mom because she's a narcissistic abuser. And I've had to do a lot of stuff, especially just this past 7 or 8 months alone. It's really been tough. I still don't even have internet, so I'm getting there. I changed industries too. I used to be in transportation. I work on an assembly line now. I work 4 10s and I get 3 days off, so that's really cool. But yeah, other than that, I had a change of heart a few years ago, and I started deleting a lot of my old videos. And there's a precise reason, I wasn't a libertarian anymore. I wasn't interested in conservative talking points anymore, and I did not want to be remembered as the guy that did the trip reports. And it's always bittersweet when someone comments like, oh, I remember when you did the trip report on this, because at least they remembered me, but I wish it would have been for something a little better. I feel really bad because it started a downfall in 2017. I was basically a closeted alcoholic, and my drinking problem got out of hand before everybody's eyes, and I really made a buffoon out of myself. There's a lot of things I did in the past that I was like, why? I used to act super ignorant in live streams. I got really drunk before debates I promised I would show up for, and I would be almost useless. And luckily, the people I was speaking with, they weren't too judgmental. I think people probably had suspicions things were going on, but just didn't want to say anything just to be courteous. But so I stopped really engaging in debates and all that, and I just kind of hung out in live streams or the old school hangouts, because it was just chilling out and there was less expectations, so I could kind of camouflage my problem a little more. But towards the end, it was basically unhideable. I was getting shakes and stuff, and it was just nasty stuff. And it took a long time. I hardly even drink anymore, so there's that. I don't think I've had any liquor since January. But with that being said, I do want to return, and I do want to make content on this account, but I'm not a 19-year-old who's interested in making socio-political commentary type videos anymore. And I'm not a 20-something-year-old trying to force myself to do that. I'm a creative person, and I'm sure I'll make entertaining things that you guys will enjoy rather. And yeah, so I'm going to say I'm back.